Hello! In this 15-minute video, we'll cover two aspects of the teaching of English pronunciation. Teaching segmentals, that's vowel and consonant sounds, and teaching suprasegmentals, stress, rhythm, reduction, linking, and intonation. The next slides elaborate on voice, place of articulation, and manner of articulation. In pronunciation teaching, there could be an overload of meta-language like this, so I tend to use more accessible terminology and lots of in-context examples. Even though many international students know the IPA, asking those who are unfamiliar with it to learn it could create overload. I tend to reference the IPA, the International Phonetic Alphabet, in very specific cases, as these symbols can be useful in identifying difficulties and contrasting sounds. Note that the sound pairs are exactly the same by place of articulation. The only difference is voice. K, g, f, v, s, z, f, the, sh, j, ch, j. In fact, most pronunciation errors are not between voice partners, so the error correction can be reinforced by contrasting the place of articulation. Again, I try to avoid meta-language, but having said that, most mispronounced sounds are caused by physical, positional errors. These positions can be modified and learned. I tend not to teach to this level of classification. Again, my concern for meta-language overload, but it is a possible way, perhaps, for teachers to describe and/or organize consonant sounds. There's a particular significance to manner of articulation when we teach linking of consonant sounds in connected speech. The 5 sound types are stops, I'll call them sounds that pop, fricatives, sounds that hiss, affricates, sounds that snap, nasals, sounds that hum, liquids and glides, sounds that flow. Vowel sounds also have a place of origin, front, mid, back, high, mid, low. To reinforce the point that vowel sounds are voiced, it's fun to have students repeat the sounds from front to back, noticing the effect in their mouths of the vibrations moving in one direction. E, I, A, a, oo, o, ah. You can kind of feel the wave moving from front to back. Consonant and vowel sounds are usually taught and practiced in isolation or in a pair for contrast. There's a strong link to behavioralist language teaching and learning, mostly in the form of drills and repetition. But there's still something to be said for real-world context and uses. Notice how instructions in the following activities start with verbs. Mostly, I try to make it evident to learners that pronunciation is important, that it needs their attention and effort. The features of this typical lesson include voiced or voiceless sounds and points of articulation. The activities include discrimination, listening, identifying, contrasting, and opportunity for trial and usage in context. Having students create dialogues is always fun. Now, we'll look at the teaching of suprasegmentals, word stress, thought group stress, rhythm, reduction, linking, and intonation. These features are crucial for the development of natural-sounding speech. The study of suprasegmentals starts with syllables. The stressed syllable is longer, higher, or louder, and it could be all three. I always introduce this concept in the very first lesson when learners introduce themselves by name and nationality. I ask them to count the syllables in their names and their countries and identify which syllable is stressed, or if there is a stressed syllable. The word stress rules on this slide are not really structural rules like grammar rules are, but they are patterns that occur frequently enough that it's helpful to note them, or just build awareness by sharing other examples that follow or don't follow them. I'm actually more inclined to highlight these patterns in vocabulary lessons. Activity 1 is a good activity to introduce the concept of syllables. The pyramid goes from top to bottom with 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5 syllable words. Usually students will choose a topic like food, countries, or cities to build their own syllable pyramids. In this practice with word stress, learners connect the concept of syllables to stress in common vocabulary. A teacher may invite learners to clap with stress to indicate loudness of a stressed syllable, or stretch an elastic band to indicate its length. Each thought group usually has one focus word with a key stressed syllable. These stressed key words are usually content words which can express contrast or new information. In Activity 1 here, students are asked to identify the focus words in this video at a car rental agency.
Oh, I'm sorry, we have no midsize available at the moment.
I don't understand. I made a reservation. Do you have my reservation?
Yes, we do. Unfortunately, we ran out of cars.
But the reservation keeps the car here. That's why you have the reservation.
I know why we have reservations.
I don't think you do. If you did, I'd have a car. See, you know how to take the reservation, you just don't know how to hold the reservation. And that's really the most important part of the reservation, the holding. Anybody can just take them.
These activities highlight a key function of prominence, that it gives or shows focus. Where did I put my book? Which book? My economics book. I need it for class. Prominence introduces new information. I have about $10. I was hoping to borrow about $20. Prominence shows emphasis. Is the exam this Thursday or next Thursday? Prominence can emphasize contrast. Note how the activities engage learners in real-world scenarios. The event is not October 20th, now it's October 25th. We don't meet in room S231, we meet in room S276. I wanted a cup of soup. Not coffee? I wanted a cup of soup, not a bowl. In most languages, the amount of time an utterance takes is based on the number of syllables. English is a stressed syllable-timed language. Its timing is based on the number of stressed syllables. In class, I modeled these two sentences and asked students to practice then read them out loud in chorus. Don's friend Sue ate 2 large pizzas last week. It would have been better not to have eaten the pizzas before she'd paid for them. Almost always, the entire class finishes the first sentence at the same time. But everyone finishes saying the second sentence at very different times. This is because the first sentence with 9 strong and medium stressed syllables is phonologically easy. The second sentence is much more complex, with lots of linking and reduction strategies that learners haven't mastered. But because it has less stressed syllables, actually, it should take less time to say. The time a thought group takes to say is based on the number of stressed syllables. Book, a book, buy a book, buy them a book, I can buy them a book. Kids eat bugs, the kids eat the bugs, the kids have eaten the bugs. The kids have been eating the bugs. Here are some more examples of rhythm practice activities. I want a new Toyota. He cleaned the kitchen cupboard. da-dun, da-dun, da-da-da. These activities help learners to recognize, then catch the rhythm. Reduction is a feature of natural speech that supports the rhythms of stressed syllable timing. The most frequent reductions involve changing unstressed syllables to schwa, as in can becoming kun. For example, I can swim, I can skate, I can't ski. Can you sing? No, I can't, but I can dance. Reducing of to and to n are very common features of native speaker English. Learners really recognize and appreciate the authenticity and everyday frequency of this type of exercise. A bag of chips, a tube of toothpaste, a six-pack of beer, breakfast with the cat in the hat, green eggs and ham and eggs, salt and pepper, tea and coffee. This reduction exercise works or becoming Are you in or out? Do you want this or that? It's either his or hers. Is this elevator going up or down? Etc. Two more very common reductions are to ta, I've got to go, I used to be thin, and have to I could have been a star, I could have won. When linking sounds, although it may help to revisit consonant sound classifications, I find it more practical just to let students develop the awareness that after most final consonant sounds, they should link the vowel at the beginning of the next word. Lock all the doors. That's a fair answer. Here are some more common types of linking. Blends with same sound, bus system, vowel to vowel, go out, she asked me. Activities 2 and 3 inspire creativity and evidence of ability to apply concepts. Activity 3 in particular links pronunciation practice to a more or less real-world activity. The study of suprasegmentals is often referred to as the music of language. This sentiment is evident in intonation, the rising and falling of thought groups. As we look at typical intonation patterns and their application, keep in mind that intonation can carry meaning. She lives in Toronto? She lives in Toronto. Finished versus unfinished. I like rice and beans, but I like rice and beans. Question versus answer. Where's he going? Are you busy? I'm busy. Have you ever seen a flight attendant get angry when someone asks for orange juice just after they've been asked, would you like coffee or tea? The intonation informs us what and how many the choices are. Would you like coffee, tea, or water? 3 choices. Would you like coffee, tea, water? Other choices available. Intonation can also express moods or emotions. I said earlier that I start teaching suprasegmentals with syllables and build from there. I wind up recommending that my students practice shadowing. Continuous practice shadowing native speech can improve fluency and muscle memory. By copying the rhythm of speech, learners sound more authentic. Actors and diplomats over history have been famous users of this technique. As we wrap up this video, I'd like to leave you with some concepts to consider. There's debate around prioritizing the teaching of segmentals and suprasegmentals. Should one be taught before the other? With which do you find most miscommunications really occur? What is the value of drills in teaching pronunciation? And what is the value of activities based on real-world contexts? When and for how long should we teach pronunciation? Should there be dedicated pronunciation lessons, or should they be a planned component of bigger picture speaking lessons? Well, that's it. I hope this video has inspired an approach you can use to enhance your pronunciation teaching. Thank you so much for watching.